Well, hello everyone. How's it going? It's been a few hours since our last encounter together in the underground, as we're now ready, sort of, to go into Locked In. Currently I'm kind of sorting a few things out. Hence why start of the stream was delayed a little bit. But yes, we're here for Locked In, a big pay-per-view filled to the brim with matches, and I am certainly looking forward to this show. So, let's go to our first bout of the evening in the women's division. Excuse me. It will be Shayna Baszler, Julia, Natalya, Liv Morgan, and Raquel Rodriguez, all against Chelsea Green in the Elimination Chamber. The Chamber, as it has been deemed by me. IPW Women's Television Championship will be on the line, so let's go to it.
The following is an Elimination Chamber match. The rules of this match are as follows. 4 participants will be locked away in their respective pods. 2 superstars will start the match in the ring. The participants will be released into the match in random order. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall or submission. The last superstar remaining following the eliminations will be declared the winner and is for the undisputed Women's Television Championship.
Thank you, Mike Rome, for the official introduction to the match. We're now going to find out which of the 4 women will be getting a pod. First, Japanese sensation Julia gets one of the first pods in this match.
From Tokyo, Japan, Julia.
It's kind of interesting how Julia's nameplate shares similarities to JC Jane's in terms of the snake-like things on it. But Julia entering the chamber here tonight, winning in qualification week, the Thursday matchup, beating the likes of Stephanie Vakir to get here. And yeah, the first chamber we're going to see here, not surprisingly in the Locked In arena. We're actually at Elimination Chamber, because of course we are. Regardless of that, Julia enters the first cage as entrant number 2 draws the second pod. A veteran of Elimination Chambers, Liv Morgan.
Representing the Judgment Day from Elmwood Park, New Jersey, Liv Morgan.
This is certainly a match type she is famous for. Found success in every avenue of this cage. Well, she hasn't really won a chamber, if I recall. She seems to know how to perform in them and take down any of her opponents. Very solid in gaining eliminations, but she typically does seem to get a pod in these matches as she stares down Julia. She takes her place in her pod. 2 more pods on the line right now. And friend of Liv Morgan, Raquel Rodriguez, takes pod number 3. Big muscle mummy ready for this.
And introducing the challenger from
Rodriguez, solid in the ring, powerhouse. In a match like this, where conserving your energy and being, well, very much relaxed, composed, this favors her, as she doesn't have to exert power early. She gets to relax a bit in the pod and hope for a later entry into the match. But Raquel gets a pod here. One pod at stake. The champion's still yet to enter the arena. This is slightly worrying if I am Chelsea Green, as she realistically would like to have a pod. The champ going to be at a heavy disadvantage if she has to start this match. But speak of the devil, and she appears. The champ's in town. The belt around her waist. And a pod in her corner.
From Victoria, British Columbia, Canada, the undisputed women's television champion, Chelsea Green.
Now what this does mean is Natalya and Shayna Baszler will be starting in the ring. The champion carrying the belt in her hands up the stage. She's in a good place right now, and she will be kind of relying on getting a late entry into the match. Chelsea, a person to capitalize on the situation she is drawn, and well, she hands the belt over and takes her place in the pod. Who will be out next? Well, we know it's either the Queen of Hearts or the Queen of Spades. Well, they're both starting this match. Who's the better queen?
Representing the Pure Fusion Collective from Sioux Falls, South Dakota, the Queen of Spades, Shayna Baszler.
Baszler coming out on top on the first six-pack challenge. She beat some difficult foes to get here. And this match, she's going up against, well, some very tough opponents. Former Royal Rumble winner. Solid capabilities, technical prowess out the wazoo. Baszler here has to put in a good showing to survive a long period of time, as I believe it's every 5 minutes we will get a new entrant into the match. It might be 2, who cares? She's got to survive a long time before everyone enters this match. There's the potential for an upset can happen. Baszler staring down the champ right now. She awaits Natalya to kick off. Locked in.
And introducing the challenger from Calgary, Alberta, Canada,
Natalya was the winner during qualification week, the first six-pack challenge that week, beating out the likes of Maurice, Lyra Valkyria, Piper Niven, Naomi, and then the man Becky Lynch. To come out on top and enter this chamber, she had to beat a stacked lineup. It was the international qualifier, I feel, that matchup, as you had 2 Irish, Americans, Scottish, and Canadians all vying for a spot in this match. And yet again, everyone seems to have their eyes set on Chelsea Green, as we see the belt she holds on screen. Let's get rolling with our opening bout of the evening. Baszler uncorking some big shots. And then the knee follow-up. Taking down Natalya. As this matchup realistically is a war of attrition. Survival of the fittest. Name of the game for these two is realistically punish the opponent and not take as much punishment as yourself. Remember, it is elimination. Pinfall submissions. The only way to get people out of this match. As Natalya climbing the cage, our first pod. Oh my word! Baszler rolls out the way, and Natalya comes crashing down. We get to see our first, or second, or third person out into the match. And it is Liv Morgan running in. She grabs hold of Natalya, but Natalya fighting back. The ripcord knee from Baszler, though, puts an end to the aggression from Natty. Liv, freshest combatant of the three in this match so far, starting to work over the limbs of Natalya. Baszler now in the match. It's time to work over Liv. And this is what we have to be wary of, is people who like to capitalize on timings. Morgan capitalizing now on Natalya just getting back after attacking Shayna. As the champion enters the match. Oh my word, Baszler sending Morgan crashing into a pod. The champion playing it smart, not getting involved right now. Kind of jolting a bit, watching on as the rest of the field battle. Natalya going to come out to meet her though, and not allow the champion to kind of scapegoat out of the battle. A pinfall attempt here. The champion in trouble. One. A quick kick out by Green. Natalya staying on top of her. Starting to work over Chelsea. The champion realistically was hoping for a later entry than number 4, but hey, she's going up. She's climbing the pods. The cage, sorry. And comes crashing down, missing Natalya in a similar fashion to what Natty did. Number 5 out of the pods is Raquel as Shayna crashes Morgan down to the mat. And this could be the potential allied ship of Raquel and Morgan coming into effect. Protecting one another as Shayna into the pin on Morgan. A 2 count as Liv kicks out. This means Julia, the latest entrant into the match, gets the most reprieve by standing there watching on, seeing the demolition in front of her. Soon to join this match though, as a pinfall attempt comes through onto Shayna. Green tossing Morgan, and Julia will be joining the match in 5 seconds. Here she comes. The Japanese sensation straight into the ring. I don't know what's happening as an electric chair drop sends Morgan crashing down to the 10 tons of steel. Chelsea now fighting Morgan, and now Julia fighting with the champ. Chops and punches and bunches, sends Green careening into that top rope. Julia climbing the cage as Shayna has the choke locked in, falling back, applying the pressure. Raquel fighting out of the Kirifuda clutch. The champ in the ring now, gasping for air after I believe Julia connected with that maneuver from the top of the cage. A pinfall attempt on the other side as There is a spiral tapping maneuver from Raquel. She's immediately caught by Green with the forearm. Green comes running, charging in, tries to connect with a big boot onto Shayna. As Shayna hooks up Green, side slam, puts the champ down on the mat as 4 of the other women, now 3, battling on this side as Julia and Natalya fighting. Julia sending Natty into the pod. Hooks her up and back drop suplexes her. Raquel has live up for a pop-up power bomb. Stacks her into the pin. She goes and it's a 2 count. Rough Rider comes through. A pinfall attempt. Julia trying to pin in Natalya. I believe Chelsea was thinking I'm pretty onto Baszler there. Pinfall attempt from Morgan onto Raquel. Quick kick out. Remember, the winner becomes television champion. In IPW, that is a prestigious title. It's the workhorse title of the women's division. Granted, as in Oblivion, granted the current women's champion only challenged earlier today on Underground by Mandy Rose as Shayna Baszler hooked up for the unpretty her. Green connects and scampers into the pin. Down goes our referee Gale, counting it. We still yet to see an elimination in this match. Inverted facebuster from Morgan. Sends the champion down. Julia biding her time on the outside, recovering. Green watching as Natalya has the sharpshooter in. Completely oblivious to that hold being applied as I'm kicking stuff. Oh my word, Morgan busted open someone else's. I believe it's Raquel. That buddy ship, both bloody at the same time. Natalya tries to secure the pin over Raquel. On the outside, ankle lock applied to Chelsea by Baszler. Julia in the ring, targeting Morgan. Sent running, careening to the outside. Flatliner there from Green. She tries to capitalize on the move onto Baszler, but Natty not allowing it. Running defense. As Julia applies the stretch and the stomp to Raquel, especially onto that mat. It's so goddamn powerful. Oblivion to Natalya again. Into the pin goes Morgan. 1, 2, and still a big kick out. Everyone is fighting, is on the cage right now. Julia and Raquel going toe to toe. Raquel head smashed into the cage and tossed off the side. Julia, she's climbing, I believe, down actually. I thought she may have been going towards the pod. It's Baszler in the inside of the ring, gets her boot caught by Morgan, who's rolling through. The super kick from Green connects to Natalya. Irish whip sent her flying to the outside. As on the outside, what's Raquel thinking? Powerbomb position. And just swirling Julia, busting her open. Julia in trouble. Avoids Raquel's move. She might have been thinking for the big bomb as another Oblivion comes through. This time on Baszler as the pin is successful. The first elimination. It's for the first qualified. As Shayna Baszler eliminated from this matchup. Don't know what Natalya's trying to do there because she comes up short. Morgan trying for a second elimination, this time on her buddy Raquel Rodriguez. Gets the 2 count. The champion fighting off a lot of people right now. As Natalya and Julia both trying to take her out of it. The champ, remember, needs to survive the onslaught. these stars. Obviously, Basil was the first woman in this match, as was Natalya. You have to feel their bodies must be worn down as the discus forearm connects from Natty. Into the pin goes Morgan to try and slow it down, but keep your eyes on Natalya, who's got the champion in trouble. Hooked up for the sharp shooter. It is applied here on the outside. And the holds let go of. Clearly not enough damage done to Green as of yet, as Julia's into the pin. It's a slow count from the referee. Referee Kim really not paying much attention to that one, as Julia hooks up Liv. Oh my word. Crumples her with that suplex. Problem is Raquel Rodriguez standing above her, breaking the back of Julia across her knee. As it stands, we've got 5 women still in this match. Morgan, Raquel, Julia, Natalya and Green, all wanting the belt, and I think Green potentially could be looking to put an end to Julia's night. Hooks her up and drops her with the Unprettier. Crawling, scampering into the cover. The referee out of position, but who cares? She's into the count. It's only a 2 as Raquel has Natalya up and swirlied. The champion battling with Julia as Julia grabs a hold of her and brings her down with the brainbuster. Into the pin she goes. The champion in trouble. 1, 2. Oh. So nearly it. Natalya power slams Raquel for the pinfall attempt. Oblivion to Julia. Liv's been cracking out that move thick and fast throughout this match, but it's yet to score an elimination bar, I believe, Shayna Baszler. Everyone else, and another connecting pinfall attempt. Julia's night could be over, and it is. The last woman into the match is the second eliminated, and Morgan has been dominant so far. She turns her attention to Natalya as the champion battles with Raquel. Now the 2 big firecrackers, Green and Morgan, fighting. Green around the back escapes Morgan's attack as Natalya hooks in another sharpshooter, this time on Raquel. Raquel being wrenched and taps out. We're down to the final 3. The champ's still in it. Liv Morgan, Natalya, the others. 2 women still alive and kicking. Chelsea sent flying, gets her leg picked and walked across the back of by Morgan, who has been dominant. Green roll up backslide, trying to sneak victory here. A 2 count. Not enough to keep the Queen of Hearts down. A discus forearm takes down Morgan. A ripcord punch from Green. She senses victory. The champion so close to retaining, as her 2 opponents have been just busy. Rough Rider. But Green hooked up into another sharp shooter. Natalya wrenching. The champ taps out, which means we will have a new television champ. Natalya Neidhart or Liv Morgan. Only one can walk away with the belt. Natalya into the pin. And it's enough. Natalya victorious. She takes down and beats 5 other women. She started this match off as well. But let's be honest, the punishment never really went her way. Everyone else was kind of hit with the finishers. And it wasn't until the end where she could just lock in a couple of sharpshooters, tap out Raquel, tap out Green, and then just connect with the big knockout shot to eliminate Liv Morgan. A great matchup to start the show, but there was really no grudges in this match, let's be honest. Grudges make IPW, and we have one big grudge match to move into. The best of 5 series is where we are heading. And it's going to be settled inside Hell in a Cell. Trick and Javon.
Here is your winner, and new undisputed women's television champion, Natalya.
Trick and Javon versus the AOP as we congratulate our new champion, Natalya Neidhart. Successful in claiming the championship in the cell. But yeah, let's move over to our second match. It's going to be a big one. One of which I need a quick break before. Okay, so I also have a question. If you can't hear it right now, the game makes weird noises when I'm on a certain screen. And I don't get, why. It's done it for the past few years as well. It's like someone else is playing the game, navigating menus and doing stuff, but it makes weird noises when you're on it. Anyway, let's get going into our second bout of the evening. As the steel, while the Hell in the Cell structure hangs above the locked-in ring. Welcome to the locked-in arena, by the way. We ready ourselves for the Authors of Pain to enter the building. The best of 5 series has gone the distance.
The following contest is a tag team Hell in a Cell match. And at a combined weight of 620 pounds, Anchor and result, Authors of Pain.
And needs to be settled at the pay-per-view. A tornado tag match, a tables match, elimination tag, and Extreme Rules weren't enough to break the deadlock. And tonight, a victor in the series will be determined. AOP dominant in isolation of opponents. Trick and Javon finding avenues to exploit the AOP to secure their victories. It has been back and forth every step of the way. And it isn't until now we're gonna see who can come out on top. As we welcome the opponents to the AOP to the arena, Javon Evans, ready to go to work here tonight.
And their opponents, first from Greensboro, North Carolina, weighing in at 170 pounds, Javon Evans.
Comparative to the other matches these two teams have been in, this one hits differently. No longer is it about fighting purely with the opponent. You have a third weapon in your arsenal, which is the cage. As we welcome Javon's tag partner.
From Columbia, South Carolina, weighing in at 205 pounds,
Trick Williams. Hyped for the pay-per-view show. Coming out swinging. Should be the name of the game for this team. We know a Hell in a Cell structure can take years off your life if you are on the receiving end of some of the punishment. Every element of the cage can be used as a weapon. Just be ready for this bout. I'm certainly intrigued to see who takes the advantage in the early goings of this one. Trick and Javon, they look hyped for this. AOP were content in their walkout. They had determination, they still have it. They're psyched up as a Trick and Javon as the cage lowers around them. We get underway as the battling begins in the ring. Neck breaker from Trick. Takes down Akam, and now Rezar getting hit with a DDT. Javon and Trick need to realistically work together to keep AOP staggered. That's a haluva kick as well from Trick. Nice. Sending Akam down to the mat. Punch out. And this has been really good from the early goings from Trick and Javon. It's certainly the change from the previous bouts we've seen from these two teams, where the AOP took control early. They isolated Javon, beat him down to a pulp. Not really gave him an avenue of attack, as the battling on the outside from Javon, and I believe that is Rezar. Javon and Akam on the inside of the ring. Sorry, Trick and Akam on the inside. Now, Trick takes control of everything in this match. He needs to be the playmaker for his team. Nice kick there. Dropping Rezar, but Akam getting on top of Trick here. And this is not what Trick and Javon want to happen. Javon has been the punching bag for AOP in this series, as a pinfall attempt comes through onto Rezar. Only going to get a 1 count. Eyes on Trick, who's going to be swirled here. Over the top into the turnbuckle. DDT connects onto Rezar, but Akam's boots caught. Trick now starting to get going as Javon sizing the opportunity, spinning through, can't connect. The boot of Akam getting in the way. Nice kick there from Trick. His big move isn't going to kick. Instead, a Harlem sidekick comes slapping through to drop down Akam. And now Trick and Javon can target Rezar and isolate a member of the Authors of Pain. Battle him, bloody him, bruise him, damage him. The super kick from Trick. Drops down Rezar. A pinfall attempt here by Akam. Gets the one on Trick, who hasn't really taken too much damage. And Rezar now caught. Trick dropping him with a DDT. Javon sizing up Rezar, as is Trick. The shot's gonna come through the corner. That enziguri from Javon dropping Akam. Rezar watches on, could have potentially capitalized. Instead, it's going to be Akam who gets up to his feet first. A Harlem sidekick, though, going to connect to him. And now Trick and Javon. Chokeslam attempt here. Rezar hooking up Trick and brings him down to the mat. Pinfall attempt. Our referee going to get in position, but can't count at least a 1. Now Javon isolated in the AOP territory. Rezar not going to hit the punch. Instead, belly-to-belly toss, sending Javon flying, as they're now turning their attention to Trick Williams, putting him in a difficult situation, punching him open, giving him a bloody face. Akam sends Javon careening into the cage. Just sending him raggedly around the arena. The cage doing a lot of work to keep them contained. This has been an all-out war, and Trick's into the pin. Looking for victory over Rezar. Not going to get it just yet. Instead, Javon sent running as Trick could be in trouble. The trick shot connects. Akam watches on and catches Trick. Not going to kick him in quickly enough to break the pinfall. It's still a good effort as the AOP biding space. Javon in. Snapmare. Spinning kick to the face. Then the cutter. Sending Rezar down. Sizing up. Someone is Javon. Trick busts open. get some revenge over being busted open. Razor covered. Akam rolling through, tries to break it up, cannot do so as Javon cuts him off at the pass. Now Trick and Javon, firm control, both members of the AOP grounded. Javon up to the top, spinning through and connecting. But Razor, he's back to his feet and back to asserting dominance. Turns his attention to Trick, continuing to try and bust him open even further. Pinfall attempt from Javon. It's broken up easily by Razor. Hopping over the body of Akam. Razor caught crucifix bomb out from Javon, but Akam back to his feet, gut wrench position, bringing Javon up for the hammer and slams him down to the mat. Pinfall attempt, but Akam, my friend, you're in no man's land as Trick Williams back into the ring. A slap to the back of the head, then a solemn high side kick puts down Akam. Trick's combination of offense sending Razor back down to the mat. This has been all Trick and Javon for the majority of this match. Kendo stick in hand. Javon drops the elbow as Akam hooks up Trick for the hammer. But oh, so close to being it. Javon, a 2 count over Razor as Akam tries to pin Trick. It's broken up immediately. This could be a turning point as both authors of pain back to their feet. A German suplex sends Javon flying, as it does Trick. They're dropping them down. They're trying to isolate them, but Trick and Javon, too quick to the game. They've survived 5 of these matches with the AOP, so they know how they like to fight. Uh-oh. Hooked up and powerbomb down. Razor catching Javon, but Trick, he's got Akam in his sights. Hooks him up and sends him down. Trick watching on, waiting for his time to strike over Razor, but instead opts to target Akam. Javon rolls out. Finally Trick, Harlem side kicking down Razor, who rolls out. Akam now in trouble as Williams targeting the leg. Into the pin he goes. Razor back to his feet quickly. Rolls through into the ring to break up the pin. He knew it was endgame if that pin had, well, if he didn't break it up. Sit out powerbomb dropping Javon. I thought maybe that could have been a chokeslam from Razor to Trick. That would have been endgame for Trick and Javon. Combination offense from Trick, connecting with the line as Razor's back to his feet. Tries to grab a hold of Trick, but both members of the AOP have been busted open now by Trick Williams. Javon now isolated. In trouble as his boot caught. Chokeslam down into the pin goes Razor. He's looking for victory. 2 count, a near fall. So close to it being over. But Javon surviving on pure instinct. All 4 men standing as Trick and now Akam for their respective teams. That's Uranagi putting down Akam. Now Razor in the sights of Trick. Runs the ropes, swinging around with the neck breaker. He's heading up. Pinfall attempt from Javon. In the meantime, and it's enough. Out of nowhere, the pinfall attempt secures victory. And this was dominance from Trick and Javon. The match looked very one-sided. From out of nowhere, they struck gold and hit hard. The AOP, they couldn't get their game plan to work. Tried as they might, they couldn't isolate any member of Trick and Javon's team. They end up falling short here tonight. And Trick and Javon take the series 3-2. This certainly shakes up the tag team division. We'll have to see what happens with the division as we move forward to, well, an impromptu match that was only made official earlier tonight. A match that came from Underground.
Here are your winners, the team of Javon Evans and Trick Williams.
If you didn't see the live episode of IPW Underground earlier tonight, simply put, this match became official as Mandy Rose announced she was cashing in her resolution against Fallon Henley here tonight on Underground. She said she wanted to fight her, and Henley didn't show up to the challenge on Underground. So Mandy said, you know what, if you're not willing to show up to this show, I'm gonna make you show up to the pay-per-view. And that's why we have this bout here tonight. A singles match for the belt. Will Mandy beat the unbeatable champion? We'll have to see as we get ourselves into this one.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall and is for the undisputed Women's World Championship.
Thanks for the intro, Mike Rome. Let's get into the entrance that is out first. It's the challenger, briefcase in hand. Rose knows that's what's garnered her this opportunity. The case in hand. The champion has no choice. She knows that Rose is capable at upsetting anyone. She earned that case by surviving the turmoil match. And tonight, she has to survive Henley, who is, as we know, a very difficult opponent. We've seen what she can do when she is given free reign, and there we have it. The briefcase lifted above the head of our referee, Gail, here for this one. And Rose waiting for the champion to come out. As we know, Fallon has been atop of the division ever since she took the title from the inaugural champ, Nia Jax. And during that time that Jax was champion, Henley was not sitting quiet. She challenged in the first ever Conquest match. She fell short, granted. She also faced Jax in the Rumble at New Year's Clash, falling short as the runner-up of that match. But since then, the scalps that Henley has taken, the likes of Becky Lynch, Rhea Ripley, Asuka, Charlotte Flair, just to name a few. We'll toss it to Mike Rome before we continue the points, though.
Introducing the challenger from Yorktown Heights, New York, Mandy Lansing, Michigan, the undisputed Women's World Champion, Fallon Henley.
But as I was saying, Henley has beaten some of the best women to ever do it. And tonight, Rose may need a miracle to beat Henley here tonight. Championship lifted above the head of our referee, Gail. We get ourselves ready as we get this championship match underway. Henley and Rose missing with their first shots, but Henley, waistlock applied, wrenching on Mandy. A tight grip applied as the champion roll-up attempt into the pin. The count not going to be easily a hit as Rose reverses the pinfall attempt. Fallon, roll through, backslide. Gets a 1 count. Both women. Technical wrestling prowess on display here. As Fallon once again takes control. Wrist lock applied. Rose in danger as Henley arm drag takes down Rose as another collar and elbow tie-up this time is applied. Henley overpowered. Rose pushes her into the corner. Gail tries for a clean break. Rose kicking out of it. Combination of offense applied to Fallon. As Rose, flapping kick to the face. Drops Fallon to the mat, and unloading some big shots is the challenger. Arm trapped knee to the face from the challenger as the champion picks the leg. Now takes down Rose with a neck breaker. Rose nips up, connecting with the knee. That was a big time connection as it drops the champ, but the champion's back up now, connecting with her own flurry of offense and just beating on the chest of the challenger. Frustration setting in as all the way up to this pay-per-view, these two have been biting at each other. Rose interrupting Henley's matches, Henley interrupting Rose's. There was a special referee match at one point where Rose officiated a title defense between Oscar and Henley. Obviously, the champ retained in that match, but Rose, she garnered knowledge on how to beat Fallon. Into the pin goes Mandy over the champ. A 2 count going to be gained as a quick kick out was required. The champion facilitating as Rose meets a boot to the face and Henley hooks her up, gut wrench, fall away slam. Sends Mandy to the mat. Pinfall attempt, Henley looking to retain. Only a 2 count. As Rose in trouble. Fallon sizing her up. The kick to the knee. Setting her up for a hoedown. Planted Mandy in the mat. And down for the pin. Oh, so close to retaining. Henley has used that hoedown to great effect to secure big victories in the big moments. But it wasn't enough there to keep down Mandy. But the champion still in control. Up to the top rope. Froggy with it. The frog splash connects. And Fallon is in control. Smashing the head of Mandy into the mat. Big running senton as well to follow it up. She goes for the pin here. Could this be it? Only a 2. The champ starting to close this one. Dominant in this matchup. Mandy hasn't really been able to get going since the early flurry of offense. Manages to catch the boot and send Henley down with that knee. The champ in trouble as Rose face buster planting Henley. Setting her up, runs the ropes. Comes careening in, misses. Henley back to her feet first, unloads a flurry of offense. A neck breaker to drop the challenger. A kick to the gut, hooks her up. Angel's wings, she uses Rose's finisher against her. 1, 2, so nearly a repeat of the Henley Ripley match, where the Riptide secured the victory for the champion. But here, Henley has to do a bit more. She's busted open the challenger. This has been a dominant performance from the champ. Rose gets back to her feet, uncorks a big shot. Ripcord knee connects. But Henley back to her feet once again. Sends Rose into the ropes. A big time 1-foot drop kick puts down Rose. The champion continuing to punish an already beaten, battered and bruised challenger. What more is needed to put away Mandy Rose here? Henley needs to find it regardless. Kicking, stomping away at the challenger. Punishing her. Pinfall attempt. Is this enough? 1, 2, 3. Not even a finisher needed to put away the resolution case holder. And with it, an unsuccessful cash-in. It's great to give notice to the champ. It's great sportsmanship, but in the world where you need miracles to beat Henley, it wasn't enough. And I, for one, I think it was a massive mistake by Mandy Rose to do this against the champ. But hey, what do I know? I simply commentate the shows. But we did see some interesting things. The champion utilizing new maneuvers. I didn't expect a frog splash from her. I don't think Rose did. To be fair, when we saw the Angel's wings, that face buster, I thought,
Here is your winner, and still undisputed women's world champion, Fallon Henley.
I thought that, well, champs won there. Clearly I was wrong. And hey, it's me again. Look. Ah. Could you tell I was rooting for Henley in this? As I've got the new Fatal Influence t-shirt. That it's technically the first Fatal Influence merch they've ever given them. Anywho, enough about me. Let me just pan back over to what I wanted to talk about next. Because this, my friend, is where we are heading. This is Showdown. The next pay-per-view or live event, whatever you want to call it. And the big thing about it is, well, for the next, or for however many days, we are going to be having a tournament. Live shows every fucking day. And what that means is there are going to be 4 divisions. 2 male, 2 female. Each division holding 8 stars. They will compete in round robin action all the way up till Showdown. And at Showdown, well, basically the winner of that Showdown will be heading to face the champion on night 2. Simple as that. The matchups, spoiler alert, are gonna be heavy. The competition in the men's division, I'm just looking at the names that I've got jotted down here, are gonna feature the champs. That is the big thing. The champions will be involved in it. So the likes of, well, I already could tell you, Samoa Joe, Ospreay, and Michaels are all in divisions. Whether or not they're in the same one is a different thing. You'll find out tomorrow who are in each division. And this won't start until next week. So, when I say next week, I mean not this Monday. It'll be the following Monday. Because we need a break to ready the round robins, ready the tournaments. Because I need a week to get ready for them. The live shows will be every day. I'm undecided on how many matches it is a show. I think it's 4 singles bouts, all counting towards the win-loss record. Win a match, you advance up the tournament bracket. Lose a match, you go down. It'll be, if you saw my live shows for the mixed tag, the Friday show, it was a round robin tournament basis. The points were a certain way. It was like 3 points for a win, 2 points for a count out win, or a DQ, and then 1 point for a draw or a count out loss, or count out, or DQ, I believe. And then 0 points for a standardized loss. That will be probably how we do it again for this tournament. Again, I will lay down the rules as we get to the start date of the tournament. But yeah, that's what's coming towards Showdown, a 2-night live event. I, for one, cannot wait for it. But something that I think many of us really can't wait for is this match. The Tag Team Championship will be on the line. The Usos taking on Gallus. The rubber match between these two teams. And you're going to have to wait a teeny tiny little bit longer, because I need a quick break. let's get going. Out first are the challengers for the steel cage match.
The following is a tag team steel cage match and is for the undisputed World Tag Team Championship. And at a combined weight of 493 pounds, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
There's nowhere to run or hide inside the steel cage. The champs and challengers have met before. It wasn't until qualification week Gallus regained the World Championships by beating the Usos in their obligatory rematch after losing the belts last time at Crush Crush Crush. Tonight it's opportunity 2 as we look to prove which team is the better of the two. Ahead of, well, this rubber match, it's tied 1-1. Can they prove?
And at a combined weight of 486 pounds, the undisputed World Tag Team Champions, Joe Coffey and Mark Coffey Gallas.
Who can prove they deserve to be on top inside a steel cage? The aim of the game is simple. Either escape or pin and submit your opponent. That is how it is done. I don't know if the pin or submit rule works the same in a tag team cage, so it might just be escape. We shall have to see as the champs look ready. The championship will be on the line. I don't know if we've got official match introductions, but let's see. No, we don't. The belt's handed over by Gallus to our referee, Gregathy. Lofted into the air. Let's get going as the chamber, the cage, you call it what you want, is lowered around them. Usos out of the gates first. A super kick to the gut sends down Joe Coffey. Mark battling with the other Uso. I believe that is Jay. He is fighting. Knee to the face as Jimmy comes in, connecting with the punch. Chop block, take out the leg of Mark Coffey. Joe gets back to his feet, but he's unable to capitalize. The Usos, known for their steel cage antics, sorry, I should say Hell in a Cell antics, they're starting to get out. Taunting from the apron, calling up Joe, cross body, send him down. A super kick puts Mark down, and the Usos are looking to escape. Both of them at the same time. I believe it is an escape-only match. A punch stops one of the Usos from escaping. Mark climbing, trying to grab a hold of the other, but unable to do so. Joe now trying to get up there. He's going up, punch stopping the escape. And now he's looking to bring it down Jey Uso. Mark getting back to his feet, but he's caught immediately. Catches a super kick attempt. A gut kick. Sends one of the Usos running. Then a hip toss. And Gallus now in control, starting to work over Jimmy and Jay. Snap suplex. Dropping one of the Usos. Joe sent running. escapes around the back door, pushes off, crossbody caught. Mark trying to escape, but it's in the face of Jey Uso. Joe comes crashing through, but it's to no avail as Jimmy back to his feet, dropping Joe. As Gallus need to find an avenue to isolate off a member and bring him down. Nice German suplex. Mark gonna use the time, try and climb. But Jimmy gets caught at the pass. The punch blocked. And Mark is going to make it up the side of the cage, it appears. DDT from Joe, stopping it. And it's Uso versus Uso. Sorry, Uso versus Coffee. And Mark on the verge of escaping. Joe buying space for his brother. He looks to climb himself. And Mark on the verge of escape. He's out of there. One of Gallus's members are out. Mark Coffey, the heavy hitter, gone. Joe stuck in the Uso penitentiary. Now he's going to be wailed on, beaten to the edge of his life, it feels. As both the Usos can target, beat up Joe. It only takes one of them to escape at this stage to even out this match. And that should be pretty easy in a 2v1 situation. It appears that Jimmy is going to be the one to escape, I believe. It's hard to tell from this angle which Uso that is. But Joe trapped. And he's being beaten. Turns his attention, tries to get to the escaping Uso. He's going to fall short, I feel. Tries to clobber Jey, but unable to do so. And we're down to a 1v1. Drop down, leapfrog, super kick connects. And that is going to be the escape time needed. Jimmy climbing quickly up to the rim of the cage. Joe slowly making it his way back to a vertical base. Starts to climb the cage himself. Crawling over, trying to grab. He punches in the nick of time. I believe to be Jimmy, as the Uso chants being called by his brother. This is almost certainly the ending point of this match. Crashing down to the mat. Gallus still fighting. Joe still battling his way. He's been beaten up by two members for the majority of this match. But Mark made his way out early. And that has certainly potentially been a catastrophic mistake from Gallus. Now, this singles match is essentially what we're in. Comes down to who can find the time to strike, who can potentially cause a knockout concussive shot. That's a chop block to take out the legs of Joe Coffey. And I believe this is escape time. If not, it's an Uso splash time. Connecting. An elbow drop to follow it up. I feel this match is over. Joe just being pummeled. These knees destroying as Jey begins the climb. Slowly but surely makes his way up to the edge of the cage. He's starting to escape. There's no movement until now from Joe, but Jimmy is gonna make it out. And we've got new tag champs here tonight. As the Usos victorious. mistake, I would say, from Gallus. When Mark escaped the match, it gave the Usos this opportunity to 2-on-1 just pulverize Joe Coffey. Once they did enough work, enough damage. An Uso splash later. A couple of elbow drops. They were both out of the cage and Joe left stunned.
Here are your winners, and the new undisputed World Tag Team Champions, Jimmy and Jay, the Usos.
They reclaim the gold. They reclaim favor here in IPW. And win this bout. A bout, though, all about title rematches is our next one. The two-time undisputed champ Shawn Michaels defends his belt in two guys enacting their rematch clause. Will Ospreay, Samoa Joe. Only one can walk away champion. This match, there is no escape. All there is to worry about is the hell that can come inside the cell.
The following contest is a triple threat Hell in a Cell match and is for the undisputed World Heavyweight Championship.
This will be interesting.
Introducing the challenger from England, weighing in at 220 pounds, Will Oxley.
We saw what happened in the build-up to this one. Qualification week, Joe lost the belt to Shawn Michaels, who in the previous week beat Ospreay to the title rematch. Tonight, everyone gets their rematch, basically. Is it unfair that it is a triple threat match? Sure. Is it doubly unfair it's inside a steel cage? Absolutely. Do IPW management care? Hell no. They want the best for business. They want this belt defended. And they're gonna get it how they want it. Hell in a Cell, the equalizer for every man in this. The weapon that it can be.
And introducing the challenger from Huntington Beach, California, weighing in at 282 pounds, the Samoan Joe.
Makes it a game changer. And, well, Joe's Titantrons covered in fire make you feel like this is going to be hell for someone. Potentially, we see some targeted offense towards the champ. We know that Michaels won on a whim in some people's cases. Joe won the belt on a freak cash-in in other people's minds. Ospreay is the rightful champion coming into this in others' thoughts. But as of right now,
The champion from San Antonio, Texas, weighing in at 227 pounds, the undisputed World Heavyweight Champion, the Heartbreak
as Mike Rome says, the only man that is champ is Shawn Michaels. The Heartbreak Kid took the belt home with him in qualification week. Now has to defend it. Will he be able to do so? We will find out shortly. As I and everyone around us ready ourselves for action. This bout is set to deliver in our co-main event. There you see it, the championship on the line. Ospreay ready, as is Joe, and Michaels watching on. The chamber lowered around them. We're underway with this one. Michaels takes control early. Joe fighting out of his grasp. Springboard moonsault connecting from Michaels. He baited in Joe just to go high risk. Now turns his attention to Ospreay. Side Russian leg sweep. Drops the challenger. Joe's shot misses. Michaels connecting. Ospreay turns it around, takes the back of Michaels and kicks him. Big offense there from the challenger. Both challengers now fighting one another as Michaels watches on. But Joe fighting back against Michaels, headbutting, sending him down. Ospreay tries to go high risk, misses. Irish whip sends Ospreay over the top rope. Michaels connecting with the chop block to send down the challenger. Joe caught as Ospreay came back in. Ospreay walks immediately into a lariat from Michaels, who drops the fist in the face of the challenger. A lot of reversals in the early going from all three men. As Joe caught now, punching out the grasp of Ospreay. Michaels takes the back of Joe, backdrop suplexing him. Ospreay kicking now at Michaels, picks him up. Michaels out the back door, sends Ospreay running and hit kitchen sinks him. Michaels sent over the top rope. Ospreay connects with a springboard move into the first pin of the match. Not even going to get a one because Michaels in to break it up. Both challengers have looked good in the early goings. But Michaels doing a good job to fight back against both of them. And we know the type of offense that all three of these men want to go for. As Ospreay tries to come running in, gets caught by Michaels, sends him down. Joe tries to grab a hold of Michaels, who gets fought off. And we finally get an avenue where all three men are standing and connecting their big offense. That was a nice maneuver from Joe to drop the challenge. A couple of headbutts to drop Ospreay's electric chair position. Going to be fought out of by Joe. Takes the back and connects with the lariat. Ospreay back to his feet. Sends Joe into the corner. Fires up. Grabs a hold of the challenger. Runs the ropes up and down with the Hurricane Rana. Michaels, though, roll-up attempt. Trying to sneak victory. Trying to retain. Able to do so. As Ospreay kicks out. Michaels choosing his target. Up and over, connecting on to both men, it appears. Ospreay in the drop zone for the elbow drop. As Michaels connects into the pin. One count going to be garnered as Joe breaks it up. Joe almost super kick. The Sweet Chin music almost connecting. It does this time. Pinfall attempt by Michaels. Only a 2 as Joe kicks out in the nick of time, and Ospreay has his eyes set on the champion. Into the corner he goes, calling his shot. Joe watching on as the hidden blade ducked, but the basement dropkick from Joe isn't. And the challengers teaming up to connect on that maneuver. Though I feel that the hidden blade would have been better to connect in favor of both these men. It is still enough to keep down the champ. Pinfall attempt by Joe only surmounts to a 1 count. But Joe hooks up Michaels up to the gut wrench and then side slam. Putting Michaels down. Ospreay back in. Attention set on Joe. Hooks him up for a cheeky Nando's kick. The challenger is starting to get rolling. Send Michaels into the ropes. Pop up into the Hurricane Rana. Over the top. Show off neck breaker. Dragon screw from Joe as he regains his footing. There's the champ in trouble because that's a Kirifuda clutch applied. Ospreay forced to break it up as he saw his hopes of winning fading away because Joe has been dominant. Just punching away at the champion. Clubbing shots doing work. Joe trying for the pin. Ospreay not letting him. And Joe, he's got Ospreay hooked. I thought maybe Kirifuda clutch was coming through, but instead it is just gonna be a suplex. Michaels puts Joe down and out to the ringside. Turns his attention to Ospreay in the corner. The champ has seemingly had Ospreay's number in the early goings of this match. But Joe has been better. Michaels, it feels. Joe's sending Michaels out to the outside this time as the Spanish fly from Ospreay dropping Joe. Michaels potentially thinking sweet chin music there to Ospreay, but gets met with a backbreaker. Ospreay turns his attention to Joe once again. He's just looking to keep both men put down. Nice spinning maneuver there to put the pressure onto Michaels. Spinning around the world, up and down with the Stun Dog Millionaire. Down goes Joe as Michaels sitting, watching in the corner. The champion watching his potential title go away. Ospreay hooked up Joe for the Styles Clash, and he's busted him open. Michaels roll-up attempt, once again trying to sneak victory. Gets a 2 count. Ospreay reverses it into the pin of his own, and he's so close to victory. Joe slowly making his way back to a vertical base as Ospreay hooks up Michaels for Storm Breaker. Planted as Joe comes firing through with a flurry of offense. Everyone is giving it their all. The champion in trouble of losing. Kicking out in the nick of time as Joe tries to steal victory. Ospreay back in. Watching on as Joe kicking away. Tried to go for an ankle pick there. Unable to get it as Ospreay kicking through. Joe has the back. Suplex number 1. A German, now a half and half. Rip cord, never mind, it isn't. Straight jacket suplex. And Joe now, the Kirifuda clutch, locked in tight. The champion tapping out. And Joe reclaims his championship here tonight. Call it a fluke that Joe lost his belt in qualification week, as he regains it here tonight. And he performed very well. Michaels had it won at one point, but it wasn't until a couple of Kokina clutches, not Kirifuja, why do I keep calling it that, came through and Joe tapped out the champ, put his ass to sleep. And there we have it. A new champion in the men's division. And it's our second two-time champ. We shall see how this affects Showdown, because I believe Joe is in a completely different division to these two.
Here is your winner, and new undisputed world heavyweight champion, the Samoan Joe.
In fact, I can confirm he'll be in a different division. But one division he won't be any different to is the television champ. Whoever wins this main event will be in the same division as Samoa Joe now. Oh boy. A stacked matchup that will be when we get to it. But can Balor retain is the name of the game. The Demon needs to channel his inner strength. We've already seen On Chamber go the way of the first person into the match. Will that happen again? But we've got Randall Keith Orton, Big E Langston, Rey Mysterio, Mike the Miz Mizazin, Braun Strowman, and the Demon Finn Balor, all fighting for the IPW Television Championship. Let's see how that shapes up. The interesting question will be, who gets pod number 1?
The following contest is an elimination chamber match. The rules of this match are as follows. 4 participants will be locked away in their respective pods. 2 superstars will start the match in the ring. The participants will be released into the match in random order. The only way to be eliminated is by pinfall or submission. The last superstar remaining following the eliminations will be declared the winner and is for the undisputed television championship.
Let's find out who takes home the championship, as Randy Orton gets pod number 1.
Introducing the challenger from St. Louis, Missouri, weighing in at 295 pounds, the Viper, Randy Orton.
Orton looking confident as he slowly walks towards the chamber. This matchup is a hard one to be in, as Randy's slow, calculated walk leads him into the chamber. Gaining a pod for himself is always an advantage in this match. Granted, it didn't show off that way in the opener. It helps as you don't have to take much damage. Randy slowly makes his way into the ring. Not going to get the Randall Keith Orton pose. Instead, going to see him enter his pod. Who is entry number 2? That's Big E.
And introducing the challenger, representing the New Day from Tampa, Florida, weighing in at 285 pounds, Big E.
Big E, the first qualifier in qualification week. A big matchup he won. Sami Zayn in it, Grayson Waller, Steiner, and DDP to name a part of that field. Big E came out on top, winning in quite an impressive way. Yes, he's here, ready to go to work. The jiggliness that he has compared to Randy's entrance is certainly being felt as, well, he's ready, excited, because he knows this matchup. It's one that is, well, very interesting. Big E enters his pod. That's 2 of the 4 filled. Who is entrant number 3? Oh my. Well, I already know who this is. The champion gets a pod. And I'm intrigued to see how the camera enacts to this. As we pan around the arena, the lights reddened as we ready for a demonic entrance for a champion. Come up the ramp. I'm surprised that's worked so well.
And introducing the champion, the undisputed television champion, the Demon, Finn Balor.
His first entrance with the belt around his waist. The Demon is ready for action. Crawling his way to the ring. This is set to be explosive. Inside the stadium, full locked in. The crowd behind the champ as he walks his way towards success. The dark look of the champion takes the belt off as he walks into the ring. The belt, precious to him. We're not even gonna see the final taunt as Balor hands the belt over to our referee for this one. Our ref Kim in the ring for this. Our main event. Who gets pod number 4? It's the first qualified man. Mike the Miz Mizazin. Only fitting he gets this pod. As he beat a game field. KO, LA Knight, Ilya Dragunov, Rikishi, and Sheamus. As we ready himself for this match.
Residing in Hollywood, California, weighing in at 221 pounds, The Miz.
We now know that it will be Rey Mysterio and Braun Strowman starting this match. That is an interesting duo to start the match. The biggest and the smallest man in the chamber going toe to toe. I'm intrigued to see who will walk out victorious here tonight. The chamber has realistically favored no one so far tonight. Can it favor one of these 6 men? The champion certainly hoping for it. Who's out next? We know the last 2 people are. It's the monster among men. One big SOB. Braun Strowman.
And introducing the challenger from Sherrills Ford, North Carolina, weighing in at 385 pounds, Braun Strowman.
Strowman stomping his way to the ring. He is very, very good at dominating matches, and I think in some cases him coming out first is beneficial to him. His first opponent being Rey Mysterio, well, I feel he will stomp him into the mat. As we ready ourselves for some booyaka booyakas. Strowman stomping around the ring, looking at everyone he can. He knows his targets. He knows he needs to get rolling fast to put down everyone in this bout. One man known for thick and fast offense is the LWO leader, Rey Mysterio.
And introducing the challenger, representing the LWO from San Diego, California, weighing in at 175 pounds, Rey Mysterio.
Mysterio is quick. He can hang with the big dogs. He's beaten them before. But Strowman's a different kettle of fish. Strowman's massive and will just toss him about like he is nothing. Rey's gonna need to attack and find the weak spot of the giant right now. As we ready for this match, the doors are being closed as the chamber is locked in. Television championship on the line. Balor will defend it here in the chamber. And we are underway. Drop kick out the gates early from Strowman. This is kind of what I expected to happen to start this match. Strowman beating up Mysterio. Grounding the high flyer. Well, that's certainly not grounded, just elevating him off the floor. Strowman getting amped up already. Mysterio catches the big boot, kicking away now at the base of Strowman. Smart offense from Rey to take away the legs, but he's caught in the pin. A 1 count there. Strowman yet again grabbing a hold of Mysterio as the first pod will be opened up in 5 seconds. And our third entrant in the match Big boot there from Strowman. As Randall Keith Orton enters the match. Certainly have felt that Randy and Ray have certainly had some big classics over the years. Those two perform exceptionally as Randy now takes his attention to Strowman. Nice neck breaker there. Dropping the bigger man. Strowman the biggest in the match. As Randy turns his attention to Mysterio. Nice runner there, planting Randy into the pin. But it's a quick kick out by Orton. Swirly from Strowman plants Mysterio as pod number 2 is about to be opened. These 3 men will enter. And it's the champion, the Demon. In a similar fashion to Chelsea Green, comes out number 4 into the match. Caught by Strowman on the outside. Reversing the pressure, sending Strowman into the plexiglass. That holds Big E. Pinfall attempt from Randy. Referee slow to position. As Strowman trying to send Balor crashing down to the steel on the outside. Balor fighting out of it, climbing the cage now. Up and over, missing. Strowman rolls out the way. And now, either Big E or The Miz will enter the match. And it's The Miz. Which means Big E, the favorable position, coming out last. And certainly didn't play favorite for Julia, who realistically got punished coming out last. As she was eliminated second in that match earlier tonight. But this one could be a different result as the Demon fighting off both Mysterio and The Miz. The Miz getting planted by Ray. On the outside, a dropkick from Randy drops Balor as Braun the target of Randy, and them two going back to the Wyatt days. Certainly met up several times as Big E now into the match. All 6 men have entered. Only one will leave locked in champ. RKO to the freshest man in the match. Slithering into the pin is Orton. Connecting for a 2 count. Final cut there by Balor onto Strowman. A pinfall attempt. Mysterio almost eliminated. Into the pin goes Balor on Strowman. A quick kick out as Randy connecting with the big boot to Balor. And he's thinking of delivering some clubbing shots, taunting the champion. Big E trying to toss Mysterio, but Mysterio trying to toss Big E is probably not going to work. And it hasn't. The Miz coming back out, trying to fight the champ. Balor getting beaten up. The strikes from The Miz connecting. The backbreaker, but Randy breaking it up. As we've got 2 hookups. Balor fights out of his. Miz not so fortunate. Inside the ring, a just brutal toss from Big E, sending Mysterio back to the mat. And it's interesting, during the qualification to this matchup, every man had to only, secure 1 pin to win and get into this situation. It wasn't until this where it's elimination that you're playing a different tactic. in the six-pack challenges, you had to be there at the most opportune moment to win. Poison Rana there from Ray, planting down the Miz. In this match, you can kind of bide your time and watch on and stay out the way of everything. As the champ's busted open there by the Miz. That's a tide changer. Military press slam from Big E. Nice step up into Guri from Balor. As he's got the Miz in the landing zone. Planted down for the coup de grace. The champ's into the pin. And he's looking to eliminate. And unable to do so as of yet. But Braun's hooked for the big ending. Planted on the outside. The pinfall attempt going to be counted. But not eliminated. We're still awaiting our first elimination. An RKO from Randy to the Miz. Could be it. It isn't. I thought it was over. The night was done for Miz. But it isn't just yet. Randy still fighting. The Miz out the back door. I'm interested by what Braun's trying to do here on the outside. He's going to come crashing down onto Big E, connecting the crowd behind this matchup as well as the Miz to the outside. Turns his attention to Big E. Into the pin he goes. Only a 1 count. The champion, the only man down on the mat right now, pulled to his feet. The Miz looking for that little DDT. Sending Big E down. Yoshi Tonic on the inside by Ray to the champ. Demon in trouble as there's a figure 4 leg lock applied to Big E on the outside. In trouble. Off tapping out. He doesn't. Gets out the hold. The Miz though not giving up the offense. There's a face buster. Planting the champ. Another figure 4 leg lock applied. Big E in trouble. Will he tap out? He does. The Miz eliminates Big E. Once again, it's the last man into the match is eliminated early. Randy setting up Strowman for the stupid vintage Orton. Mysterio sending Balor, flying but unable to, setting up for 619. Randy thinking RKO there. The Miz cuts him off and instead, nearly hit with it. The champion turns his attention to Mysterio, plants him up and down with a scoop slam. That's a landing zone for Balor. I thought maybe coup de grace could have been chimed. But instead, it is! Oh my word! But he's caught, I thought, skull-crushing finale instead. A pop-up. Randy stealing the pin that the champion set up. But unable to win as Randy's going to be rolled up. The champ looking for victory. For Orton, unable to get it. Instead, caught, hooked, suplexed. Mysterio comes crashing down on the outside. Bodies scattered everywhere. This match, again, receiving a "This is awesome" chant. Sling Blade from the champion puts down Orton. Sends him into the corner. Running power slam from Braun. And Balor has Orton for the shotgun drop kick. Into the pin goes the champ. 1, 2. An easy kick out for Orton. But we know Balor has that kill shot still. As Strowman, one of Strowman, Mysterio, and Miz is busted open. That was 1916 by Balor on the inside of the ring. He's into the pin, only a 2. Orton surviving on pure instinct. Is The Miz now the target of Balor? The pinfall attempt is successful. And the champ's eliminated one of his challengers. Pinfall attempt, Mysterio on Braun. The way this match started. As Mysterio now turns his attention to Orton. Sends him down with the DDT. Balor out to fight Braun. And Mysterio. Orton. Roll-up attempt, trying to pick up a victory over Mysterio right now. Able to get it. A 2 count. As Balor corks some shots to Ray. A snap suplex into the pin. He goes. 1. Quick kick out. Not enough to keep down Mysterio. Instead, turns his attention. What's this going to be? Thinking maybe pile driver. Instead, a backdrop onto Balor. As his comeuppance. And Strowman sent running. Mysterio beaten. Dropped with an elbow. As Balor climbs the cage. And comes crashing down with a splash. Mysterio being beaten. Managing to find a way to put down the champ. Both Braun and Mysterio up on top of the cage. Braun connects, Mysterio does not. And Balor has him hooked up. 1916 planted. For the Impaler DDT. Into the pin goes the champ. 1, 2, 3. Systematic destruction by the Demon to put down Mysterio. And now we're down to the final 3. Strowman, Randy, and Balor. Randy and Braun battling in the ring. Balor biding his time on the outside, recuperating from the offense. The choo-choo train that is Strowman puts Randy down to the mat. Crawls into the pin. Only for a 2. Balor's still watching on. Smart, wise by the champ. But Randy, he's thinking it's time to get a bit stupid. Vintage, busting, open Strowman. The challenger getting back to his feet. Clubbing shots from Randy, keeping him down. But for how much longer? The knee drop. The drop top. The raindrop. All for an RKO from out of nowhere. Strowman's night is done.
Braun Strowman has been eliminated.
Leaving the voiceless, or the voices in Randy's head against the champion. The Demon has done a lot to survive this one. Randy walking around, trying to catch Balor. These big strikes do. The backbreaker, dropping the champ. And Orton smells blood in the water. The champion being dissected by Randy. The Viper versus the Demon, and the Demon's falling short right now as Randy's feeling it, hooking up. It's not going to be an RKO though. The power slam from Balor puts the challenger down. The splash misses though. And Orton, it's his time to strike. trying to send Balor back into the ring. Finally does so. Orton. He's looking to put the finishing stomp on this match. To the top he goes. A long distance splash misses. The basement dropkick from Balor does not. He sends Orton into the top turnbuckle and sets him up. Scoop and a slum. Down he goes and Balor's heading up top. The champion calling for Randy to get stomped into the mat. The coup de grace on this one. The champion will not retain just yet. A little more needed. Is Balor watching, lying in wait to strike, the slaps, the chops, the punch, the inverted DDT with the elbow. Dropping the challenger, who's slowly back to his feet. The champ, his boots caught. Orton not able to capitalize, instead stomped again. Balor into the pin, just brushing the face with his forearm. Another two. And the champion again looking for the pin, this time utilizing the ropes. A quicker kick out this time by the challenger. Sling blade, roll through into the drop kick. Balor is ready, rolling, firing on all cylinders, and the challenger, what's he got left in the tank? Caught by Balor, sent into the corner. Balor again, scoop and a slam. A pinfall after it this time. Only a 2 gained. Balor's frustrated. Once again, a pinfall attempt. Not enough to keep down Orton. So, what must Balor do? The demon needs to get his inner demon sorted. If he is to be victorious here, Orton finally catching a shot of the champ. Brings him to the ropes. And sends him through. Balor's been stupid. What must he do? 'Cause right now, he's in the sights of the Viper. Planting with an RKO. Pinfall attempt. And we've got a new champ. I thought this match was over. I thought Balor had done enough, but in the end, the Viper came out third and came in the end out victorious as he stomped his way to victory over Strowman. He RKO'd his way through Balor. And in the end, I felt maybe one shot from Balor could have ended the night in his favor, but it was never to be, as we have a new champion here in the television division. 2 new champs in the television division. A lot of belts change hand tonight in an epic locked in card. But what we can say is we're going towards Showdown. Everything up in the air. We'll see how that card will shape up.
Here is your winner, and new Undisputed Television Champion, the Viper.
You could see on his face he's ecstatic with the victory as Orton lofts the title above his head. The Viper went to war and came out victorious. As we mentioned once again, we will be heading towards Showdown in a month's time. Maybe longer, who knows. But the leagues will be brought out tomorrow. Thanks for joining me tonight. I'll see you soon for the first live show in the tournament. I'll see you then. Peace out.